Hi there, it's Demi here. Welcome back to another video. On this channel I dive into all things homesteading, self-sufficiency and just living a more simple life in general. Now first things first, excuse my camera quality for a second. I just got a new phone and I'm still really trying to figure out the settings of it. So that's why the quality might be different than you're used to from me. Today we're going to dive into the best small homesteading project that you can start, in my opinion at least, and that is raising quail. So as some of you might know, if you've watched my previous videos, then you know that we have quail ourselves. We hatched them ourselves. We had 6 hatchlings, all female. We hatched quail because my dad really wanted a couple more females. He got 3 and we're keeping 3, and we will have a rooster next week too. We picked out a really nice looking one and I'm going to show you when he arrives here. That will be next week, Wednesday evening, so probably Thursday I'm going to post another video. But these birds are incredibly productive. They take up hardly any space and they are perfect if you want to keep animals for either the eggs or for the delicious meat, or even if you just want to have a new project or a small low maintenance pet, because they really don't take up any energy from me at all. So grab your notebook because I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to raise your own quail. From housing to feeding to breeding, and just some things that you should avoid. Now why would you raise quail in the first place if there are other options like chickens or ducks that give way bigger eggs and also way more meat if you keep them for the meat? Now quails, they start laying eggs at around 6 or 8 weeks, so they are very early. And that is also way sooner than ducks or chickens. I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought chickens was like 3 to 6 months even, depending on the breed. Quail also don't need as much room as chickens do. They only need about 1 square foot, which I think is not that much room at all. So I tend to give them, I tend to give my animals a little bit more room. Quail also are very quiet. They really don't make any noise except for the roosters. They will do a little but that makes them perfect to keep in the city, like on a balcony or something. You won't disturb your neighbors with them. Of course, quail are smaller than ducks or chickens, but their eggs are still very nutritious and their meat is still very good. And also here in the Netherlands, quail eggs are a lot more expensive than regular eggs. So if you really prefer quail eggs over regular chicken eggs, then I think it would be better to just keep them yourself, because it really doesn't take that much money to keep them. It doesn't really take that much room to keep them either. And quail farming is very scalable. Whether you want 5 or 500, you can really adjust this to your space or your goals. Now, not all quail are the same. You have mainly 3 types. Of course, you have breeds as well. But there are 3 types that I want to discuss in this video. You have one with a name that I will not try to pronounce because I will butcher the out of it. It is this word. These are the most popular in beginners. They're also hardy and easy to raise. And also I believe that these are the biggest of the types. We have Japanese jumbo quail. They're the same size as like a city pigeon, maybe a little smaller maybe. You also have bob white quail, and these are often used as hunting preserves or just for game meat, but they can also be very skittish. And then you have the button quail. These are very small. They're almost like ornamental. They are adorable, but they're really not that productive at all. I believe these are mainly used for like more pet keeping. So for many backyard farmers, is the way to go. I'm not pronouncing it. I'm not trying. Cortunix? Told you I would butcher it. Quail need a secure, dry and well-ventilated space. For housing you can use stacked cages, a ground pen, or even a converted rabbit hutch. Just make sure that they do have 1 square foot per quail, because if you have too little space they will start to fight each other. It's kind of like having siblings. If you put them together in a really small space and you let them sleep in the same room forever, they will annoy each other and there will be fights and there will be like, yeah. Everyone just needs enough room to get away from annoyance, to get away from just to be with their self for a little. Quail need that too. Now chickens might be able to defend themselves against mice, rats, and the biggest breeds of chickens might even be able to protect them against like predator birds, like hawks. Quail are so small that they will not be able to do so. It also is just really not in their nature to do that, to protect each other from predators. Now predators that you're gonna have to watch out for are cats, foxes, rats, And of course those predator birds or any other predators that you might have in your area, like badgers or anything. Make sure that the enclosure that you use for your quill will not allow for anyone to break into it or dig under anything. Now temperature, that really depends on the breed or the type of quill that you have. Adult quills can be kept outside, and I've been told that they can also be outside in the winter, as long as they have an inside compartment that won't freeze over. Right now we're just using a transport cage because it is 20 degrees outside right now, but we plan on making a little wooden, like one of those bunny houses for them. And it also will need to have a bottom because our quill, they stand on stone. And of course stone is going to get really cold in the winter. Chicks, on the other hand, will need a source of warmth. And this can be one of those UVB lamps. We have a, I don't really know how you call it in English, but we have a donkerstraler. That's basically a lamp that only emits heat and no light at all. My dad uses a heated lamp with a red color because the color red is also proven to be relaxing, but this can also be like one of those little tables that they all sit under. Quail will eat almost anything, just like chickens will, but to really thrive they need a slightly higher protein based diet. What we did with our hatchlings is we started them off on a starter feed. I don't know if it exists, but we couldn't find actual quail feed, so we just put them on chicken feed. And the starter feed that we used had 24 to 28% protein in it. For adults, you can either use a chicken feed for layers, or you can use a food for game birds. And these feeds regularly have 18 to 20% protein. And always provide clean drinking water, of course, like you would do with any other animal. Prevent using big containers, because the chicks, especially the chicks, will tend to drown themselves. Also, you need to offer a grit if they're eating whole grains. I rather do this anyway, because they will still eat anything that is like laying around in the grass. And giving them a grit just supports the digestive system that they have, and it makes sure that they get everything out of their little shell. And then you can also provide a calcium supplement. We like to use crushed up shells, oyster shells. I do not recommend using one of those powders that you put over their food, just because they know themselves if they're deficient, and if you put it over it anyways, that they're gonna have too much calcium. And too much calcium won't always go to the eggs, it can also go to their bones. Just like you wouldn't give any extra calcium to a dog, you just don't force it into the food of your chickens or quail. These birds are very smart in what they need and what they want, and they will go out of their way to look for anything that they're deficient in. If you want to hatch your own quail, then you'll need fertile eggs, of course. And you can get these either from your own birds or from a breeder. We got them from a breeder at first, and we're going to continue with our own eggs. You need your own incubator, set at 38 degrees Celsius or 99.5 Fahrenheit. And this incubator needs around 45 to 55% humidity. You'll need to turn the eggs 2 or 3 times a day. Our incubator has this built in, so it will rotate them every few hours. So that's something that we really don't have to worry about. If you want to see how our quails hatch, then you can click on the video in the top right corner. After hatching, you should brood them under like a heated lamp or like those table things that, like I said. And after you've hatched your chicks and they've all grown up, you can set up your own breeding group by placing a male with 3 to 6 females. Make sure that your male is not related to your females to prevent inbreeding, if you plan on hatching any more eggs in the future. Now here are just some common problems and how you can avoid them. Like I said, overcrowding your quail will lead to fights. It will lead to packing and unnecessary stress. So do make sure that they have enough room. Also, another problem with stress and packing and fighting is too many males compared to the amount of females. We are planning to have 1 male and then 3 to 6 females. But if we would want another male, then we would need more females again, because they do tend to fight for their females. And the males will just attack each other if there are too little females to share. Now, a dirty enclosure, of course, leads to diseases. and bad smells. Of course, not all diseases can be prevented by just keeping their enclosure clean. There are still a lot of other viruses and bacteria that can be transmitted between them without their enclosure being very dirty, but it will prevent some of them. If you experience poor egg laying, that can be a protein deficiency, and that is only when they are not laying as many eggs as you would expect. If they are laying eggs frequently, but their shells are very brittle, or sometimes even they don't have any shells at all, then that would be a calcium deficiency. So that can be fixed by just providing more calcium that they can choose to eat on their own. And lastly, quail are very good escape artists. Quail can fly straight up instead of needing a little bit of a runway to go. So really cover the top of your pen. They can only fly or jump for about 1 to 2 meters. So if you do have a higher pen with no overhead, then that's fine, I think. But just by staying on top of cleanliness and having enough space for them, that prevents so many issues. Now for egg collecting, you can collect your eggs daily. Quail eggs are small, but they're really packed with nutrients. And their eggs are perfect for a salad or for pickling. For meat, the type that we have, the Courturnix, they are ready to harvest for meat from 8 to 10 weeks. And if you want to go this route, then make sure that you're using humane practices. It is very important to have respect for the animals. I do plan to make a video about this in the future because we plan on keeping them for meat as well. So you can expect a video like that from me in about, I would say 3 months maybe. So there you have it. Everything you need to know to start raising quail yourself, whether you're looking for eggs, meat, or just a simple new project for your homestead. These little birds will be a fantastic addition. Now if you found this video helpful, then please leave a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, are you planning on raising quail yourself? And if you have been for a little while, then what are the tips that you want people to know about? And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye!